we all have also doing this virtually, so there's quite a few people from home watching, so we're all being recorded. But I won't say feedback. Okay, so Deanna just started recording. Excuse me, oops. All right, good. Welcome, Patty. She's going to start with a mic and you can see is it or not.
Welcome to the Thompson. I'm very excited to be here to talk to you about decluttering, downsizing, and organizing. The series that Thompson has offered on helping people stay in their homes means a lot to me because that is what Tom and I want to do. My talk today is to give you ideas on how to make your home work well and be more enjoyable to be in for the way you live now. Excuse me, I'm not used to speaking. But anyway, there is so much that you don't need, use, or probably want in your homes. I am here to talk about decluttering and downsizing, and that ultimately leads to organizing. You have to do one in order to get to the organizing part. So raise your hands here if you have too much stuff in your home. Okay, we all do. So there's a word, it's called suffocation, which means the feeling of stress caused by owning too many things. There are ways to deal with all of this stuff, but it takes a lot of time, energy, and motivation on your part to do it. Supposed to go to another slide. I'm sorry. No, that's all right. I usually can hit that. Uh-oh.
It's okay. We'll get to it.
Okay. Well, while she's helping me with that,
I'll be right back.
okay. There are things that can happen when you declutter. The first thing is that when you declutter, your anxiety decreases because you will find things more easily. You will know where to put things. You will spend less time cleaning as it's easier to clean. You don't mind having people over. You might want to cook more, and your house is safer for you. So hold on 1 minute, let me just see.
So slide, just need to go.
Oh, it's that one. Oh, I thought it was that one. Okay. No, that's all right.
And
I
then
didn't know.
just hold the mic close. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So for the bullet points, the anxiety decreases. You can find things more easily. You know where to put items that have a home. You spend less time cleaning as it's easier to clean. You don't mind answering the door. And you might cook at home more often. And home is safer for you.
We're all about home safety here.
Yes, I know that. And it's good. So reasons why clutter piles up. Stuff accumulates for many different reasons. It's really hard to get motivated and know where to start to do the projects on your own. Though I'm hoping that with this talk, I'll be able to help you with that. If you don't know where to put something, you just put it away. Clothes are kept with the hope that you will fit into them someday. For now, get rid of those that don't fit, and when you lose the 10 pounds, buy some new ones. There is always tomorrow, but then the tomorrows add up. And it will make a huge difference once you start to see the progress. So this is why I hope I can help people to start with this process and learn how to declutter so they can feel good when a drawer, room, or closet is completed. Always remember, it is not a bad thing to have an empty drawer, shelf, or closet. It is actually quite freeing. Decluttering and downsizing in your home will make you feel lighter. And as one of my customers told me recently, after each session with me, their house feels lighter. It will also make your home safer. There will be less chance of you tripping on something, and house cleaning will be less of a chore as dusting and vacuuming are easier to do. So, prioritizing your projects. There are many places that you can start to declutter. When you go home today, look around your home. Make a list of the areas that are cluttered with piles of papers, books, clothes, or drawers and closets that are overflowing. Prioritize your list into projects that you would like to tackle. Maybe start with a small project, such as a junk drawer in the kitchen or a desk covered with papers. For each project, move everything to a table or a flat surface. If you're doing clothes, move them to the bed. But just move everything out of whatever area you're starting to, you want to clean, and start going through everything. Have ready marked bags or boxes for recycling, garbage, relocating/keeping, donating, and maybe keeping. All of these bags and boxes will determine what you do with all the items in the pile. For the items you keep, always put like items with like items. Next, you will need to deal with all the bags and boxes in order to finish the project. Recycling and garbage are easy to do. The relocate bag is for items that you would like to keep, but need to go into another space or a room. Donate items need to be taken to the proper place. And there are many places to donate here in the Upper Valley, which I've listed on the resource list. The maybe keep box should be kept and looked at within a month when you are more relaxed. When you are done, you should have a surface or drawer that is clean and organized, and you can move on to the next project. What do the kids want? One aspect of decluttering or downsizing is to consider what and if your children want things from you. I am finding many times they don't want third generation china and silver, artwork, books, or furniture. And many times the kids are too busy to help with the decluttering and downsizing process. So you should talk with them and tell them that you want to do this so you are able to continue to live happily and safely in your home. If your kids don't live locally, it's great to send pictures of items that you would like to give away or sell and see if they want them. Always give them first choice because you don't want them to be mad at you either. So you can do a Zoom call with them, walk around showing them items that you'd like to get rid of. If they do want something, put it aside for when they can come and pick it up. And also have them take all of their childhood memorabilia out of your home, or at least go through it while they're visiting you. Because after all these years, you know, they don't probably need their school papers or whatever. So anyway, let them be the ones to get rid of everything of their stuff. So, okay. So out of sight, out of mind. Many of us have a lot of boxes and storage bins in the attic, basement, or closets that are filled with items collected over the years. Maybe you inherited family items as people have passed away, but you probably have not looked at any of them in years. Do you know what's in there? This will become another project of going through one bin at a time. It may be very overwhelming, or it may be easy as you will just want to throw away or recycle most of the items. Sometimes you'll find items that mean something to others. For example, we had all of my great uncle's memorabilia from World War I. He had pictures, maps, uniforms, and we discovered that there's a World War I museum in Kansas City that was delighted to take all of the items. There's usually a museum for most things. And, you know, depending on what they are and what condition they're in, a lot of times the museums will take items. So it felt really good to send them there rather than dispose of them. Once you have done this, you will find that you do not miss any of these items. what we don't even see anymore. We're all of that age where we probably had items for many years and don't even see them anymore. There are many items that you don't use, are broken, you have duplicates, or are items that you just don't like. They just blend into a drawer, cupboard, the basement, the attic, the closet, or garage. That is why it helps to empty a drawer or a closet completely and then go through everything, deciding what needs to be gotten rid of or can be kept in use again. Again, keeping like items with like. Items that can just go away. There are several categories of items that can probably go away at this point. Items that are broken and need to be fixed or painted, clothes that are too small, too big, stained, torn, or out of date, old CDs, DVDs, records, etc. Items that you haven't used in years, maybe sports equipment, the loom in the corner. I mean, who knows what it is, but there's probably things you haven't used for years. Books that just sit on the shelf, give them to the library or a donation center. Linens that are stained and worn, you just don't need to keep those kind of things. These next few slides are about different items that need to be addressed but are very individual. Papers. Papers and pictures are an ongoing thing, but once you have them under control, it will be easier to maintain them. So there are three categories of papers. The archive, those that need to be stored long-term. Make sure people know where to find these items. This includes wills, legal papers, vital records, property records, stock certificates, tax returns, and military papers. Reference, those that just need to be kept for a limited amount of time. Things you might need to refer to later, such as paid bills, insurance policies, bank records, medical records, and current tax documents. To-do papers, actions needed and move on. Bills to pay, calls to make, emails to send, articles to read, forms to sign, letters and cards to write. Photographs. How do we sort through photographs? First, you discard any that are duplicates, landscapes, unless you really love it, people you don't know, and blurry pictures. Many make piles for children and your friends if you want to pass them on to them. Label pictures with dates, names, and places. And I don't know how, I assume many of you have all these pictures from your parents that you don't know who they are or where they were. So that is another thing to do. There's an app called PhotoMine, and you get it on your phone and you can take a picture of a photo album, a page in a photo album that has maybe 6 pictures on it. And what it does is it will digitize each picture separately. It's very cool. You do have to pay for this, but I got it this past weekend and I tried a couple of them and it's great. I was just so shocked. And that it lets you enhance them. It lets you make black and white into color. I mean, it does all different things. So, so anyway, as I said, I just got it. So as of right now, I'm really happy with it. Okay. So food pantries and medicine closets are places that need to be gone through at least once a year to keep up with them. Food pantries. Go through your food pantry looking for expired foods, foods you will not eat, duplicates, and consider giving current items to the food bank. My husband and I did this and we found some that were 8, 9 years old. It's like, we just got that like last month and it's like 8 years old. It's expired. So we got rid of a lot of stuff when we did it the first time. Medicine closets. Get rid of all items that have expired. Again, this is another big one. You don't think you've had it that long, but some cream or lotion or even shampoos. There's an expiration date, even though it doesn't have it on there. It's not good to use shampoos that are really old. And obviously the sunscreens and all those kind of things. So you get rid of items that you no longer use or need. And you can take all unused or unneeded prescriptions to the local drop-off box at either the police station or Ottaquiche Pharmacy downstairs in the Ottaquiche Health Center. So. Okay. Clothing, okay. So you can donate it if it doesn't fit, it isn't your style, it isn't your color, and it doesn't go with anything you have. You can think about things in terms of when you last wore them. That is a big one. And I don't know about you, but I have to seasonally change out my clothes. I don't have enough closet space to have everything hanging all year long. So I just am trying to be brutal now, realizing that I didn't wear that shirt or sweater all winter. And it's like, do I like it? So I just took a huge bag of clothes when I switched my clothes over to Listen. Recycle it if it's stretched out, has stains, or is torn. Then you can consign them if it's a brand name or a designer, it is in mint condition, and you are realistic about the resale value. I've taken things to the alligator, the pink alligator in Westlake. She's very picky about it being seasonal. That's another thing. Is, you know, right now you're taking summer clothes to her. She won't accept winter clothes. So, and also be realistic whether you will wear an item or if you even liked it. And if you have too many of something, you know, you have 4 red t-shirts, lay them all out, see, you know, are they stained or torn or worn looking? And get rid of at least 2, you know, have everything you have, and it might help. So, and then, you know, your treat is you get to go buy a shirt or a sweater, and just buy one. I'm not saying replace everything you got rid of, okay? So.
Where do you recycle old clothes that you don't want?
It depends what kind of condition they are. We used to have the yellow boxes. You know, that were along the road, and I would put most of mine that weren't horrible. If they're horrible, you throw them away, just throw them away, or use them as a rag. But I would put them in the yellow boxes there, but we don't have those anymore here in Vermont that I've seen.
Isn't the one down on Route 12?
No, it's gone.
It's gone?
I drove all up and down Route 12 looking for that one because I knew there was one there.
Yellow box.
Okay, so gifts. Many people hold on to items that have been given to them as gifts, mainly because there is a sentimental attachment to them. We also feel bad or guilty getting rid of a gift that, as we think it will hurt someone's feelings. But the gift is yours to do with what you want. Unless it's a big, expensive item, no one is going to come looking for it and question what you have done with it. I'm trying to give gifts now that are consumable, such as flowers, food, candles, or even an outing with someone. I mean, that's just as nice a gift to take somebody to lunch, or, you know, go to a museum with them, or, you know, to spend a day and some time with them. So, so that's where I'm at right now. So, furniture. One aspect of decluttering and downsizing is considering if you can get rid of any furniture. Again, we probably don't even see the furniture we have in our houses anymore, or much have in our houses, because we don't go in the rooms as often as we used to, or the furniture is cluttered with a lot of stuff. If it's a great feeling to lighten up the rooms, and you can consider donating or selling items, or maybe your grandkids are starting to set up an apartment of their own and they might need things. And also ask your children. I know that when my family and my husband's family, they had some nice pieces of furniture, and our rule was if we brought something in, something had to go out. And their furniture was much nicer than ours. So it was easy to move ours on, and inherit, you know, some very nice pieces of furniture from both sets of parents. So, okay, This
Where
next.
do you sell those furniture? You say sell your furniture. Where do you
Well,
go?
it depends on what it is, whether you do it on listserv, or if it's a really good piece of furniture, you could go to the Bill Smith auction house. So there's different places, but you also have to be realistic about furniture these days. The market's it's not that high like it used to be for antiques and things like that, unfortunately. So
So there's an auction house around you?
Bill Smith down in Plainfield, New Hampshire. So, okay,
There's a guy in Bradford too.
yeah,
I forgot his name. Does
Yeah.
anyone know the man in Bradford who come down with a van and just take your stuff and give you a check right there in the driveway?
Who is this?
Who is this? A man in Bradford. I'll have to get that information now that I've made it.
There's only 3 of them, so we should be able to figure it out.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so,
There's also,
hi,
there's also, cover or listen,
oh, right,
depending upon where you are. That's a donation, but they'll come and pick it up.
right.
And they
yes.
also, are a little more choosy, but they will definitely.
Cover or listen, cover.
Cover
I've
or
done that
listen.
to cover their, you gotta be really clear on the phone when you call them, because they don't take everything.
And they'll want to have pictures sent to them.
Yeah, they don't want pictures.
Yeah.
But they do pick it up. so.
Right, yeah, sorry.
Can also put it out on the street.
Yeah, oh, yes, if you're not selling it, you can also put it out on the street, exactly, yes. We've done that we're on Route 12, so we'll put something out there, yeah. Okay, so death cleaning. So there's one other aspect of decluttering and downsizing that people should consider, no matter what age you are. This would be thinking about what you leave others to deal with once you are gone. We used to tell with our nephews that if they weren't good to us, we were going to leave them a house filled with our stuff. But they responded with, remember, we're picking the nursing home you will go to. So it was like, okay. So consider giving items to special people so they can remember you fondly when they use or see them. There is a book, and please don't be put off by the name, called The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning. It's by Margareta Magnusson. It's a funny, uplifting short book about decluttering and downsizing so your kids or friends don't have to do it later. So we've done this twice now, and it's hard, and you get very frustrated that it was left to you. So consider doing it. Just think of that as you're downsizing and pass it. But it is a funny little book. This lady she tells her age. She's somewhere between 80 and 100. And she wrote it. So she will not give you the specific details. So there's some mistakes and tips that you should be aware of. Decluttering mistakes. Keeping too many items just in case. Okay, so you're going to say, oh, I might need this. Well, if you haven't used it in a long time, you might not. Not being clear on why you are decluttering. Not moving on if you get stuck. If you're doing a project and it's just overwhelming or whatever, just walk away. And you'll always come back to it, but just walk away. Decluttering stuff that is not yours, that's a big no-no. You have to let the person who it belongs to do it, even if it means making a pile over there of your husband's stuff, because he needs to go through it, not you, and make those decisions. Organizing instead of decluttering, thinking that you have to declutter everything. You don't. You can start with, again, as I said earlier, you prioritize some projects and you just stick with your list, and eventually you're going to have a lot done. Not dealing with your unwanted stuff. If you do the process that I discussed earlier, you don't take things to listen, or you don't move them on, or you don't put them away. It's not going to be as worthwhile for you as if you did do all of that. So, and then not making decluttering a regular event. You don't have to do this all in one day, 1 week, one, month. But if you wanted to, you do the junk drawer and then, a year later, whatever, you go through and you do it again, because especially your junk drawer. I mean, I don't know about you, but anything I don't know what to do with goes in the junk drawer, okay? But it does have places, and once you're done organizing, you will have places to put the stuff, hopefully in the junk drawer. So. Okay. So some decluttering tips. If you love it, you should keep it. Don't even question it. Duplicates are usually unnecessary. If you haven't used it in a year's time or more, it can go away. Most things can be replaced or borrowed. Mementos are more treasured when there are fewer of them. Dispose of clutter right away. And you will probably not miss anything that you get rid of. I've seen it with myself. I've taken things away and I've never looked back. It's like, I just don't need that anymore. And what I do is I enjoy the open space now, that one piece, all those pieces, clogged up for a while. So, okay, after decluttering, once you've gone through the decluttering stage, you will start to organize what you have decided to keep. This is the fun part. This is when you get all the baskets or, containers or whatever, and make things look pretty. So a lot of my customers they want to have it look like Martha Stewart, like after the first visit. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. This is the fun part, is you know what you have and you will find homes for everything. You'll stop searching for everything. You won't buy something you already have. That's one of the biggest mistakes for people who are not really organized. They end up with 6 hammers because they could never find the hammer, so they went to the store to buy a new hammer. So you won't buy something you already have. Areas will look neater, and you can now consider decorating, maybe getting some new linens, doing a deep clean. It's just a whole new space for you. So you can think about how you entertain now, and maybe you just buy 4 placemats versus 6 or 12. And your house will feel airier and lighter. It's amazing. How nice it will feel to be in your house after you've done this. So in closing, I know this is a very overwhelming subject for many people to deal with. Hopefully I've given you some ideas on how to move forward with this process and make your home a more enjoyable place to be. I certainly enjoy helping people declutter and organize their homes and seeing the happiness in their face as we finish the project. So,
Very nice.
any questions?
I just have a comment. You put it all in a very positive light.
Oh,
That's good.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. Is it see, to me, it's very positive. I'm
Yeah.
like so excited to go and do this. A lot of people are just overwhelmed and they don't know where to start.
I think it is overwhelming, but I think you have put it in a positive light, that there is the light at the end of the tunnel. If you just start,
Yeah,
it'll
yeah,
be good.
exactly.
Good thing.
Yeah,
I don't think that.
so,
I
yes.
love-
What about getting rid of financial papers that you don't want to throw in the recycle?
You can shred them, whether you shred it yourself. If there's a huge amount, you can hire a shredding company to come in. I've just had one of my customers do that. Literally, they brought a truck in and they threw everything in the hopper and it's got shredded. You can take it to Staples or to UPS over in West Webb. And again, when you're there, they have it looks like a big garbage can, but it has a lock on it and a hole. And you shove all your papers in there. They measure it, they weigh it, and so you just pay by the pound for those two places.
Do you know of any groups having shredding events?
You know who usually has one, and I think their last one was last September, is Mascoma Bank. And I think they went to the high school, and you just would drive in. They would take everything out of your car and then put it in the shredding truck or whatever. So watch for Mascoma Bank. I know sometimes in my bank statement, they send a little flyer saying we're having shredding day on a certain day. So,
Ellie, if there is one in the area, we typically post it or put it in our newsletter.
Oh, good.
oh, good.
We're always looking to get rid of our own things as
Right.
well here at the Thompson, but so many people want to do that.
Yeah.
Get rid of the old
And-
papers.
And
It's a fundraising thing people, organizations can do.
right, that would be a great fundraiser.
That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I came in late.
That's
I may
okay.
have already addressed this, but one of the things I'm wondering about getting rehomed is old worn out pillows and blankets and sheets, things that are, they're too old to use, but they're not soiled or icky, but what do you do with those?
Pillows, if they're stained or anything, I personally I throw them away.
Compact.
I just,
Compactor,
yeah, I just,
can't do
pillows-
anything with them, right?
listen, can't sell them. I think there's places, and I don't, unfortunately, I'm not up on these, but I think there's places where they'll take your worn blankets and some linens and then repurpose them. I've seen it on the listserv where people are looking for old
Somebody's
sweaters.
looking for old cotton, any natural fabric.
Right, exactly. So keep an eye out for that stuff.
The Humane
The animal
Society.
side.
Oh, and then Humane Society,
Yeah,
yes.
and
we'll
the
get, towels and blankets.
Blankets and towels.
Yeah.
Bins?
Yeah.
Beds.
Veterinarians.
So,
You should, if you're taking stuff to Humane Society, though, you need to call in advance.
right,
Because
Yes.
there's storage space, sometimes they're looking for certain things, sometimes they're looking for other things.
right.
And, but also, there's an Upper Valley nonprofit that's really, if they're usable, that's related to homelessness.
Mhm.
I think it's called UB Gear, maybe. And, so they take not pillows, but blankets, tents, anything that you use that somebody that was living outside could use.
Okay, good to know.
What, I couldn't make out the name.
I'll have to, if my brain starts working in a minute, I think it's UB Gear, but I'll look it up on my phone.
Is it the one in White River?
Yeah, it's related to White River because there's a homeless coalition, but our church gathers a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Okay, see if I can find it.
And, for a lot of your items, wherever you think you're gonna take them, call first.
Yeah.
Just to confirm. I know with cover, one day I was gonna take some books. I got there and they had so many books, they had stopped for a couple weeks. At Listen, you can do 2 boxes a visit, per car. Right now, obviously, the best one for all of us is Bookstock. They're taking books until June 1st, I believe. I've seen that on the listserv. But call first for a lot of places, I put that on my resource list about, Woodstock, Ace Woodstock, takes acrylic paint. The cans have to be marked, what it is, and probably most of you bought your paint at Ace. So anyway, they'll take acrylic paint and they recycle it. They'll take light bulbs, certain kinds, but again, always check with them before you make the effort to go down there. Because sometimes the paint bin is full, so they can't take it. So double check when you go to the places. So, yeah.
Patty,
Lodges and you know, you'll clean out anything, right? In your job.
Pretty much, yeah,
Even
you
the
know,
top jobs like garages and barns maybe, or?
yeah, I haven't done a barn yet. I've done garages and attics, basements, and so, you know, it just depends on the project. I always come and do a consultation first, just to see what it is and see if it's something I can handle. Yeah, so,
Patty, there is a question online, and she's unmuted and can ask. I think you should be able to hear her. Ruth, go ahead online with your question.
Okay, my problem is I live in a small apartment and finding the initial clear space is difficult or impossible.
right. So what you could maybe do is clean off your bed and start there, because usually that's the one space that is clear. So maybe start there. And,
How I did my taxes last year.
oh, okay. Yeah, that's definitely one way to do it. But as you do your projects, you'll find more and more clear spaces.
Where do you bring musical instruments?
I would check at the school, see if there's kids who might need an instrument, who want to play something, but they can't afford an instrument. You can take them to, I definitely know Listen will take them. Maybe Cover. Cover doesn't take anything with material on it except for some furniture. They don't take clothing, they don't take linens, they don't take pillows. So Listen takes all of those things, but Cover will also take any building materials you have. If you have an old window or you know, anything like that, they will take all of those. They take gardening, they take artwork, they'll take books, and then they sell them in the store. And the money that they make, they go and recondition people's houses. They'll help with ramps and things like that. They do winterizing, and it's a great place. So, yeah.
Pick up things?
Listen and Cover will both pick up things. You just have to call them, and you talk to someone in particular, whoever's in charge that day. And then you have to send pictures a lot of times. And they'll tell you from the pictures whether they'll take it or not. And they will not probably take stained couches, things like that. When we did my parents' house, Salvation Army came. I was down in New York. They came and we had everything lined up. It was all on this big porch. And they took a quarter of what we had. And I was shocked. And the guy was like, they didn't take stained things. The couch had a little ink mark on it. They didn't take office furniture, which we had a lot of. There are just numerous things that they wouldn't take. And so the guy left and I was there by myself and I started to cry. And I called my sister. I said, Salvation Army didn't take any of this stuff we left for them. And we had luckily met and had a guy come who we called him Chuck with a truck. And he took away the old washing machine, the old refrigerators, all that stuff out of the basement. So my sister said, call Chuck with the truck. So I did. And Chuck with the truck came 3 times. And for $100, he took everything that we were going to give away to the Salvation Army plus some things.
Very
And-
affordable.
Yeah, well, he was, but it was also 12 years ago. You know, so who knows what it will cost now, right? But it was worth it. There are people you can pay to come and they'll just take things away that you don't want. So,
So, and Cover will take tools,
oh, yeah,
screens,
lights,
lights,
beds,
lumber that you're not using.
yeah,
Because they use them for their other projects,
right, yeah, that's it, exactly. So
lamps.
it's also a fun place to go in.
Where is this?
Cover is in White River Junction. And you go down, you go through White River Junction and go straight instead of turning right at the northern stage. You're right on Main Street on the left. Yeah, so it's a great
I
story.
just didn't understand it.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody remotely have any questions? No? Okay.
Well, I just, was texting someone to try to get the name for where you can bring blankets and stuff, but you can call the Haven.
Okay.
I mean, because the Haven also takes linens and sheets for families that are resettling.
Right.
But they might know of a place for camping equipment and the stuff that their homeless population is using.
Thank you.
This has been so informative, and I just really keyed into the app where you can get your photos digitized.
Yeah.
Could you tell us the name of that one more time?
It's Photo Mine, Photo MYNE,
And what?
and it's $39.95 a year.
Okay,
So you get 3 days of free. It's free and you can cancel before the end of the third day. But then after that, they will charge, I have it on my iPhone, so they charge my Apple account,
okay.
$39.95 a year.
A year.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
And there's also somebody in Norwich now that converts VHS to CDs.
Yeah.
Or film.
Right, and on my list, I have a place, I haven't used them yet, so they're up in Bethel, I just found out about them. And they do all of that. They do the photographs, they do, you can, I put it on the resource list. It's a Scan VT, or yeah, Scan Vermont VT. And they also digitize movies and DVDs and things like that, so, yeah.
My question is how long well, like the bills and the
Your taxes and all that kind of stuff?
yeah, I'd heard anywhere from 7 to 10 years.
Right, yeah.
Bank statements.
Yeah, I don't know about the bank, that you have to do it with the bank statements, because you can get those online. But your taxes, and again, I would consult your attorney, your accountant, all of those people, but traditionally it's 7 years for your taxes. And bank statements, you know, once you finally balance your checkbook or whatever, you know, that you don't have to keep as long because you can go online and get them through your bank. So, but bills, you know, once you've paid it, maybe again, keep a year and then just you'll keep recycling out, you know, you have, you know, January. So next January, you'll throw out January, and then you each month, you'll throw out a year, the year prior. So, but again, you can get those bills online, so that you don't need to keep them.
You don't have.
Well, there, okay, it's in the mail. So keep them for about a year, your bills, if that's what you think, if you think you'll have any issues or anything. So, and then, you know, things like, what else would there be? You know, obviously the things that you're gonna wanna keep, are your wills, you know, your, any kind of documents that are stock certificates, property, all those kind of things that someone will need eventually if you pass on. So, and again, always tell people where those things are. Because you know, we had an issue where we didn't know where the will was for someone, and it was a lot of searching to find out there wasn't one. So, so anyway, so things like that. You just have to make sure somebody knows where those things are. So, yeah.
I have been shredding quite a lot.
That's
and
great.
Getting rid of that old stuff that I just as soon not have somebody chances are of anybody finding it is slim to none.
Right, yeah,
But I have been shredding it, and that goes nicely in a clear plastic bag, and they'll take them at the trash,
right, yeah.
and that works out pretty well.
You know what I've learned through composting seminars?
Yes, and
You
they
can put shredding on
yes.
compost, your
Yeah.
compost pile.
Ralph likes that.
Yes,
Ralph Joe.
yes, exactly, yes. Somebody was just,
Yep.
Hmm?
Hi, Patty. We do have a question online from Carlene.
Thanks.
okay,
Thank you for doing this. And my question is kind of similar to Ruth's, but I live in a small apartment too, and a lot of my areas of clutter are either in my storage unit or at my parents'. And I was just wondering, what you've advised to people you've worked with before, because I'm hesitant to bring all that stuff into my apartment to organize it, because when I do, I don't really like how my space feels anymore. So how to make that more manageable.
maybe first of all, I don't know what your storage space is like. I did go to somebody's storage space and we cleaned it out at the storage space. And that worked really well because they knew it didn't go home with them.
Yeah.
You know, anything that got recycled, you know, we took away, the garbage we took away, and pretty soon they had an empty storage unit. So that was a really good feeling. And they also did take things home that they forgot they had because it's in the storage unit. So, and then at your parents' house, you know, if you can go there and just do it while you're there. Again, it depends. I know, you know, with a lot of people, especially young people, they're at a point where they live in a city, they have a small apartment, and they're not going to be able to take things, you know, until they move into a bigger place. So a lot of times, you know, it's really good to know that you're going to want to keep it. If it's stuff that's at your parents' house, and again, you know that you're not going to want it. You know, I have people who have their kids' college textbooks. I mean, they're not going to look at those. The kids they don't want the college textbooks, and that's another thing. Just so you know, people don't want textbooks. They don't want.
Don't donate them.
You can't donate
You know,
them.
books for
Yeah.
different organizations for a long time.
Yeah.
Old travel guides, old medical
Right.
guides and textbooks.
Anything
Yeah.
with a year on it, they don't want. So anyway, yeah, I hope that helps.
Yeah, it does. Thank you. And then one thing too, just with the papers, one thing I do with mine is just burn them. So if there's a fireplace you have or one you can use outside or in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, yeah. But the resource list, again, hopefully will give you some ideas on places to take things. There is the one gentleman, his name is Will Smith. He's called Will Recycle. And he refurbishes phones, iPads, things like that. And then he gives them to people who need them. And if he can't refurbish it, then he will use it for parts. Or else he donates it or discards of it in the proper way. You know, in Vermont, legally, all the transfer stations have to have places for computers, printers, TVs, all those kind of things. So you should be able to take all of the electronics to a transfer station. So, because that's, as you've seen on the commercial, that's the law here in Vermont. New Hampshire, not so much, but anyway, yeah. And then there's always a hazardous waste day. I know I'm in Barnard and we head north to South Royalton. Twice a year, they do a hazardous waste day for all the oil-based paints and anything that you can't and shouldn't throw in the dump. So look for those. I gave you a place to look online to see when the next one was. I know we just had ours here in April, I think it was, the first one. So, and you just box it up, you put it in your car, and you don't even get out of your car when you get there. They will take it out and put it in the proper place. They all have hazmat suits on and, so anyway, that's another way to get rid of all those things that, all those chemicals that shouldn't go in the landfill. So, yeah.
That's an extensive list. Thank you.
Oh.
Very, very helpful.
Thank you. Yeah.
Really.
Patty, there's
Good.
another question online.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ruth.
Okay, there's two actually, Deanna. One is over here in Rutland, the Humane Society will take blankets and linens and that kind of thing to use for the animals.
Yeah, great. Yeah, good.
Can you say more about the place that recycles electronics or refurbishes them?
Again, it's on the list, and the gentleman's in Norwich. So what I usually do with him is I meet him at Dan and Witt's, and we exchange everything. So, but you need to call him ahead of time. You need to tell him what you have. And if you have passwords so that he can still get into things. If you want to clear the computer or the phone first, you can do that. So he's helped me numerous times with all of that kind of thing.
How do I contact him?
I think Pam's going to send out the resource list, the handouts that I've given to everybody today. She'll be sending that to everybody on the list after the presentation.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so. Good. Okay. Is everybody all set?
Thank
Are you
so
all
much.
set over
Thank
there?
you.
Good.
think
Okay,
we're
well,
good
thank you for
online.
coming. This has been great.
Thank you, Patty.
Thank you.